So the brand new TSR4 driver from Titleist. How gameable actually is this new TSR4? And what happens when we flick these two little weights around? Like, is there a massive change in launch and spin? Does the forgiveness really change that much? Is there a difference in dispersion? Like, what does it actually do? Well, today, you're going to find out. Welcome back to Elite Performance Golf Studios, and welcome back to another in-depth club test and review. And today, it's one that I'm pretty excited for. I've been waiting for this head to land. It's the brand new TSR4 from Titleist. Now, I've obviously got the 2 and the 3 already, and I've done previous testing and head-to-head kind of videos on those if you want to go and take a look. And please make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, because now this is in the mix, I'm going to have a lot more follow-up videos to come of this as well, head-to-head with the 3, 2, maybe kind of tweaking this and kind of changing it, see which one I'm going to game, because I'm currently in the 3. But today's video is just more of an initial test, initial review, my thoughts on it, how gameable do I feel it is, how forgiving do I feel it is, and then what happens when we switch these two little weights around. Because this kind of new feature of the 4 model, having the front and back weights and being able to change them to kind of change that MOI, change the playability of the head, has been quite a big thing within this 4 model. And I've seen some other reasonably big YouTubers kind of testing it, and some of the numbers that I've seen, just not right. Just not right. So I wanted to do an accurate scientific test of actually what difference these make, how much difference do they make. So yeah, that's going to be it really, initial kind of overview of my thoughts of this driver, and the next video will obviously be a head-to-head, probably the 3 versus 4, so definitely stay tuned for that. But let's dive in and see what this is all about. Right, so quick rundown of the specs. We've got TSR4 8-degree head. I'm just playing it set normal, neutral, A1, so normal loft, normal lie. Shaft wise, we've got my gamer, which is currently the Ventus Black TR 5X, 45.5 inches playing length, and this swing weights at D3. So we're going to start off as it would come, out the box, stock weights, and yeah, just kind of get some baseline, get an idea of how it performs, and then we're gonna switch them around. So first thing that you'll notice is it is a very, very compact head, like very compact. And the only comparison I will do in this video is I'll show you it down by the ball against a TSR3. So it basically is a small 3, like very, very similar shape, but super compact. Like the 430 cc's opposed to the normal 460. It's a very compact head. And they're saying on this one, I've got the VFT, which is not necessarily anything particularly new. We've heard other manufacturers talk about that variable face thickness to kind of, again, improve the ball speed across the face. That's what we're kind of saying. I think a reason that I don't dive into a lot of tech in my reviews is because ultimately, you just don't want to seem like you're reading off a spec sheet. And that's all it ever seems like when you watch a reviewer do this and just read what it says on the marketing sheet. You're just reading the spec sheet, it's relevant. That's why I want to see what does it do here, now, when I hit it. I feel like I've got enough experience to go, oh, that was heely, that was toey, that was high, that was low, the face was open, the face was closed, I hit it here and this did that, that's good, or I hit it here and it did that, that's bad. That's what I want to see. All of this tech is great, it is great, but it means nothing to you or me, really, because you're a golf club engineer, I mean. Right, so we've got set up on a nice little dog leg left to right, so I'm going to be trying to play my cut, which is the shot I would play on course. Just like that. It's exactly the shot I would play on course, which is, yeah, it was a little bit low, I think. A bit low toe, a little bit lowy. Felt very harsh. Yep, a little bit low toe. Yeah, straight off the bat though, I mean, they're semi-reasonable numbers compared to what I would be used to. I'd say that's a solid gaming shot, and I'm doing this because I actually played the other week for the first time in a while, and I realised how I play golf. because I don't normally play very much, I don't get time, and I've very much played safe, like I think a lot of us would, not like I do normally in my videos. So far more off the front foot. You'll probably notice I actually play my ball position almost outside my left foot, which granted is very, very unusual. That's only because I feel like I want to hit the ball there. That's where I feel like I want to be at impact. That's where I feel like I want to hit the ball, and that is, again, outside my left toe. So that's the best way I feel like I can get to the ball. I try and open up a lot. I do try and swing across it. I do try and feel that, because it's the opposite of my bad habit, which tends to be that. So I want to clear, I want to rotate, I want to turn, and I want to try and hit that peely little cut just like that. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do. But yeah, that one, can't complain about that at all. Now, the other really, really great thing about having these weight ports, I mean, at the minute, so the two stock weights that come in this, it's a 3 gram in the back and an 11 gram in the front. So obviously we can change those about, but in the Titleist, we have a whole pack of weights. So we've got 2 weight ports there to really play around with where we want the CG, how we want the head to play, and the swing weight, which is super important. Now, the swing weight's really more important than any of that. Like just getting the right weight for someone and how they swing in the shot that we want to see. So we've got everything from, I think, a 3 gram right up to, I think it's a 15 gram, and everything kind of in between, because Titleist have standard, +2, +4, +6, -2, -4, -6. So all of that spectrum to really play around with this head weight and dial in that, paired with the Sure Fit sleeve, where we can individually change loft and lie, which is a great, great system. Just means this is a really, really adjustable driver. Oh, that was terrible. That was bad. That's interesting though. That's interesting. I mean, that was a low heel, necky, didn't feel good. Mainly low, but slightly heely. Not a good strike. Still actually like, I mean, for me, that's ended up, what's that? Was offline, 5 yards offline. Yeah, okay, we lost yardage, obviously, but it was a terrible strike. I mean, for that strike, I'm happy with that result. That's the one we don't really want when we're trying to hit a fade. You'll probably get away with it on this hole. Strike felt really good, so it'd be interesting to see those numbers. Yeah, that's one we don't really want. So it's actually, again, not done terribly bad. Good strike, 146 smash. That's, again, you don't see many 146s. There's 167 ball speed out of 114 club speed. It's a lot. 10 launch, 2000 backspin. So even for that, actually, that's a pull. So that's basically a double cross. Trying to cut it and end up just hitting actually a straight pull / tiny fade. The numbers are actually, again, the spin hasn't dropped too low, 2000. That's acceptable. I'd say it does feel firm off the face. Like, it's going to be really interesting to do the 4 versus 3 video, and hit them back to back, because this feels solid. Like, yeah, hard. I've done it again. It's not rotating, sliding, sliding. Yeah, actually, numbers, again, are good. It's just me closing the face of the path. Again, I do normally like to actually sit them open, but I think I might do that at the end, kind of. This is 8 degrees set at 8. Obviously, if I set it open, it's going to be playing down at 725, which TSR4 at 725, that's low. But yeah, I might hit a couple at the end for a bit of fun. But in this part of any fitting is very, very important in terms of the shot shape you're going to play. Because I kind of noticed that on course when I did go and play. Maybe it wasn't going as far as I maybe expected, but I think that's because I was playing that carving fade, which with the setup that I had on the day, was probably spinning a lot more than when I was hitting my straight or sometimes even draw ball flight in here. So if you're hitting a draw in here and I fit you for that, and then you go out and your actual shot shape, what you're going to play is like quite a big fade, that's going to produce very, very different results. So playing in the bay with how you would play out on course, I know sometimes challenging, but it's really very, very important to make sure you get the right fit. Oh, that was toey. That's done very well. It's actually cut as well. That's done awesome. On the line. Get on that line. 328. It's not the best strike. Yeah, Toei. Wow, that's done so well. Yeah, 143, efficiency good, 14 launch, 2000 backspin. Actually, from a toe strike, it still gave me a little bit of that kind of fade shape, which is great. Yeah, I'm very, very impressed with that. I mean, yeah, the only thing I would say is that I wouldn't expect is it feels harder, like it feels firmer off the face than I would feel. But looks, again, down by the ball, unbelievably good. Actually, I like it being a little bit more compact. It just sits lovely. Like I said, I probably wouldn't mind it sitting a little bit more open. So if I was going to game this, it may be 9 turned down or something like that rather than the 8 head. But yeah, apart from that, feeling a little bit firmer. And let's see if we can hit a little bit of a draw. That's a great draw. Really good strike. Yeah, so again, we can see there, that was actually a solid strike with a draw swing. So dropped the path way inside, probably more than I intended. But you know, it's a big slinging draw, ended up 5 yards offline. The spin dropped down to 1700, even though it was actually a very centered strike. So that strike is not influencing those numbers. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So this setup and this head, this loft, playing that shot, if you had that delivery, too low. Whereas if I try and play my little slidey cut, actually wasn't the best strike. Still 290 plus carry. So I'll say that was a fraction high on the face, that one. Yep, 5 mil high. But again, we see the backspin at 2100. Even though we would obviously expect the backspin to drop even lower from a slightly high on the face strike, the fact that my delivery changed, the fact that my probably angle of attack and delivered loft probably changed based on the fact that I was trying to cut more across it, created a launch and spin that's actually pretty nice. 15 launch, 2100 backspin, so 294 carry, nice little slider. So gameable for a fade, probably not gameable for a draw. Right, so I'm going to hit probably, I don't know, was that shot 8? I'll delete that draw and I'm going to stick with my fade swing to keep it fair for the weight switch test, and I'm going to hit 20 with each in this normal setup and with the weights flipped as well, 20 with each to get a good idea of how they actually perform. I'm not going to hit 3 or 4 shots with each, pointless. You need at least 15, 20 shots with each to see actually how they perform with the same delivery, the same swing, the same intent. Actually get a good idea of what the difference is. Wow, that was terrible. Nearly missed that. I mean, apart from using a lot of ball speed because I nearly missed it, that was so far out the toe. Look at that. 294, 12 yards offline. If I'm honest, my initial opinion of this in terms of the forgiveness, is it as stable as the 3 on miss hits? No. But is it too unforgiving I couldn't game it? No. Like, it's actually pretty damn good. Right, so that's 20 shots hit with the weight standard as they come, so the bigger weight at the front, and now we flipped them around. So we've got the 3 gram weight sitting in the front and the 11 gram weight at the back. So come on, comment below, how much spin is this going to add? Changing the 11 gram weight from the front to the back, how much spin is that going to add? Let me know in the comments below. And also if you think, am I going to be able to feel a difference? Like, is it going to feel more stable on miss hits? Is it going to feel more forgiving? Let's find out. Again, it's still exactly the same setup. Haven't changed anything to do with the shaft, the head, the shore fit sleeve, anything like that. Only flip the weights around. That is it. That felt nice. That felt more like the 3. That was pretty good though, to be fair. That strike was good, yeah. That was nice. 13.25, 293 carry, 146 efficiency. Very, very impressive efficiency of all of the TSRs, to be honest. But yeah, that's good ball speed out of that club speed. Very good. Yeah, this is just going to be interesting, isn't it? I love doing tests like this. Properly finding out what difference it makes. It's so interesting to see a test set of 20 with each, like the averages, and then I'll kind of discuss what I think was a good one with both and what the difference was, how much difference there was with a good one, good swing, good strike. Oh, that was awful. That was awful, man. Don't know what that accent was, but that was bad. That was bad. It's done very well. Very well. Still retained decent ball speed for that real toe strike. Real toe. Felt like I nearly missed that. 14 and 25. That was definitely a pretty similar spin to the last shot I just hit, which is great. 115, I think that was the same. So ended up 11 yards right target. It's pretty stable if you ask me. And I'll be honest, it felt less harsh. It did, it felt less harsh. What I mean by harsh is just, I guess the vibrations that were coming through in the previous setup just felt not very nice. And again, I mentioned it felt hard, even on a good strike. That first one I just hit with it felt different. It did felt different. So it's going to be interesting to hit more and to see if you know, if that is the case. Does it really feel that much kind of different? There's left. Oh! It's a great strike. That could be in the khaki. Sit! Yeah, it's going to be a get a 2-iron out and hit a low hook. Yeah, strike was great. It felt awesome. And even with that, I mean, the spin's still at 1970, so almost 2000 backspin, and that's a big double cross, low left kind of pull draw. And yeah, the spin's not dropping. It felt really good, the strike. The fact they went left is just, to me, it was a rubbish swing. I felt it as soon as it went through impact, it's left. It's impressive how different it actually does feel, in all honesty. Titleist engineering. Oh baby, they're up in it. Again, that was so bad. What was with my strike today? Just toey. Loving the toe strikes, but that is phenomenal. Again, it did feel less harsh. It did feel less harsh than with the weight the other way around. Again, 296 carry. You can see it's really far out the toe. Ended up 28 yards offline, which actually for me, trying to play that fade, more often than not, I'd probably be okay, unless it was a very tight hole, and I probably wouldn't be hitting driver anyway. On this hole, you're fine. I mean, on miss hits, it's actually really good. God, that stroke was so good. Just... does feel a little easier to kind of, it seems like it wants to go a little bit more left on me in this setup, which I don't like. Obviously, if I want to try and play a cut, I don't want to be playing that pull. And that kind of ties up with anything kind of MOI wise, really. The further forward that we move, the kind of CG, typically the harder it is to get that face closed, right? So the more we pull it back, the more the kind of rate of closure wants to increase. It's just harder to kind of hold that face open, essentially, which isn't good. But depending on what spin rates this was giving me, with the weight back, I could almost maybe start playing around with face angle a little bit, maybe try and set it open and see if that just helps kind of me play that fade, if it retains a decent kind of launch and spin window. Oh God, that was absolutely murdered. Finding strike with this better, but it's kind of giving me a different shot shape. Strike pattern's more consistent, slightly toe side, which ties up with the path, really. Just too easy for me to get that face closed. I really need to find some kind of shaft difference, balance point, face angle, something that just helps me retain that face a little bit more open to the path more consistently. Oh, it was good. That felt good. I'll carry that rough. I'm at a couple mil low possibly, but 5 mil low, yeah. Again, still really good efficiency. Definitely that shot shape I want to see. 2700 backspin. Yeah, it's actually, so there, I mean, I don't take that 5 mil low, but I actually probably could get away with maybe opening that face up. I'll hit a couple like that at the end. Honestly, hitting this thing so well. And it feels so good. But I just can't quite get that fade that I need. It's that 169 ball speed. Like, really starting to ramp up that club speed and ball speed now. I'm getting a bit more confident. Actually, I've started loosening up a little bit. My kind of habit is I always hold it a little bit too much and I kind of get dragged. So I just told myself, loosen up. Like, as you feel the hands coming through, just feel like, and that's not me flicking my wrists, it's just being so relaxed that the club kind of goes where it wants to go, and that generally ups my speed. But yeah, need to try and get that face a little bit more open. Oh, that felt good. It's just a little low in the head. Probably just spun up a bit. Yeah, 27. Probably haven't quite got a perfect one with this yet, to be honest with you. Everything's even slightly toey or slightly high, slightly low. But this is what I mean about trying to find out scientifically. I want to see, there's a couple of swings that I noticed with the weights stock, which I kind of felt, well, that was a good delivery. Kind of noted the kind of path, how much it curved, all those kind of things, and then what those numbers were. And that's what I'm kind of trying to see now and compare. And that's what I mean by good one versus good one, and then overall as well, so we get an actual good picture of what it does. Right, I'll make this the last one. That was, I don't know what that was, to be honest with you, but I'll take it. I will take it. Actually wasn't bad. Felt worse than that, I must say. Felt worse than that, but nice little cut. Almost on target line. 23 backspin, 15 launch. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see these numbers. Before I show you these numbers, which were very interesting, I'm just going to hit a couple on C1. So that's minus 0.75 loft, 0.75 flat. So playing 7.25 degrees and slightly flat, and the face would be oriented slightly open as well. So slightly open, slightly flat, and slightly less loft. That looks great to my eye, really does. If this setup couldn't work, I'd almost go 9, just so I could turn it down, just so that sits lovely to my eye. Really, really nice. And let's see what, interesting to get a couple of numbers out of this as well, to be honest with you. That was really low. But again, I'm okay with that miss. Fading a little bit more than I'd like, but again, we're playing that shot. I'd rather see it go slightly more right than that pull draw. Again, as we see 3000 backspin, even though I turned down the loft, because I struck it super low in the head. Felt good. Wow, it's okay. Woo, big carry. It's good numbers. Interesting to see where that was struck. Yeah, it was a couple of millimeters low, but look at those numbers. 17 club, 169 ball, 303 carry, 15 launch, 2400 backspin. Really nice little fade. Like, this could be a very gameable setup for me, and even just playing around with it. The fact we've got loads of different weights, you know, we've got an 11 and a 3 there, but we could almost get rid of that and split it, right? Just go like 5 and 5 or 7 and 7. And yeah, play about with that kind of what's the word? Configuration, there we go. Completely slipped out of my mind. That sort of configuration with the loft sleeve and really kind of dial it in. It's not quite giving me what I want in this setting, to be honest. The numbers when I hit a good one are good, but it's still not quite there. But it would just, you know, it was just really interesting to see what it would do on a good one, and it's actually pretty damn good. Right, so let's do it. Let's dive straight into these numbers. And behind me, as always, at the top, we've got the TSR4 standard weights and TSR4 with the bigger weight at the back. Ball speed, got a little bit more out of the weight at the back, but that's nothing to do with the club, if I'm brutally honest. I don't really think. Could be the fact that maybe I kind of turned it a little bit more, but I felt like I was getting a little bit more warm, a little bit more confident towards the last few, and I maybe saw a bit more ball speed. I think that's maybe got a bit more to it, being honest. But we'll see. Again, maybe that enabled me to get the face a little bit more closed. So as you saw, I was hitting a few more kind of straight left, like slight pulls, which obviously is going to increase the ball speed. But yeah, I mean, this isn't really what that test's about, being honest. This is. So when it came to actual ball flight, we did see quite a bit of difference, right? So in terms of launch, that's where we probably saw most difference. Definitely popped up the launch, so it'd be interesting to see dynamic loft. But we saw it launch 12.2 on average, standard, 13.7 with the weight back. So that's quite a noticeable difference. I mean, you can see on this graphic here, the ball flight that we actually got was very different. So we went from a peak of 110 average to 130 average. So we went 20 feet higher in the air. And obviously had quite a bit of difference in terms of descent angle as well, but the actual peak height changed quite dramatically. But in terms of average spin, I saw 150 difference. And like I said, I'm really trying my best to tell you how these heads perform. It's not just an off the cuff, there's 4 shots and this is what it did. No, like as I said, as I was going through, I was noting the better ones that I hit in everything. It's not just that was a good strike, it's what was the face to path, like where was it on the face, kind of where did it end up, all those things, because everything matters. Like when someone picks up a club and hits one and picks up something else and hits 2 and go, oh my God, that's 1,000 RPM less spin. Like, you just can't do that. Like, you cannot do that and accurately represent the club. Like, where it was struck, if it was 4 mil, well actually let's say 2 mil high versus 2 mil low, even that 4 mil difference, like nothing is enough to make a noticeable difference in launch and spin. So unless you know exactly what loft you delivered, exactly where you struck it, you cannot exactly say how that club performed versus another, which is why these tests are so in depth. And I bet it's very important to get the accurate data across to you. So I would say between these two, with the weights forward versus back, I'd say there's somewhere in the region of 250, max 300 revs, 200 to 300 revs of spin difference, I would say, on a good one that I think I saw. Biggest difference, probably that launch. Did notice that the launch popped up, you know, at least degree and a half, which is quite substantial. But in terms of the spin, that's not really the story. I mean, average carry, we saw 291, exactly the same from those 2 different kind of ball flights. Got there a different way, but ended up exactly the same. For me, as we saw as we went through, there's just, when we're tweaking things and we're changing weights, you know, it's not always about launch and spin. In fact, it's normally more about other stuff. It's kind of more that miss protection. Like, what are we going to do to create different dynamics in order to get you to deliver the club differently and reduce your miss, or give you a better shot more consistently? And yeah, for me, I would take more dabbling, tweaking in terms of, like I said, the shaft, maybe the loft sleeve, different weights, kind of maybe not an 11 and a 3, maybe a 5 and 5, 7 and 7, split the difference, kind of tweaking that about to find that sweet spot. But yeah, there you go. There's the difference. I mean, degree and a half launch and 150 spin on average. And those were 20 shots hit with each. And anything, I did hit a couple with each that were like just really bad shots, like massively offline, that I did delete. But for the most part, it's a good, accurate representation of the average of how these kind of clubs, well, same club, same shaft, different weights, how they performed. So let's dive into the club data page quickly. So yeah, as you can see, I did swing with the weight back a little bit faster, but the efficiency was the same. So it was not that we were getting any more output from the clubs. It was just I swung the later one a bit faster. Again, it's just me dabbling with little things. As I said, I was getting more relaxed, trying to feel like I didn't hold on to it so much and all these kind of things, and that just upped my club speed, not club. So we swung it a bit faster, but there we see a difference in dynamic loft, which is very interesting, and great job from Titleist's point of view in terms of the engineering. Moving that mass back creates a different kind of delivery dynamic, different loft, which is why we saw that launch be so different. And that's great. It's exactly really what that kind of is designed to do. It's exactly what it did. So it's fantastic. Really good. Dynamic lie, fairly similar, to be fair. Again, within half a degree isn't too much, to be honest with you. Again, we had them on the same settings, so That's it's not too much going on there. Angle of attack the same, path the same, face. Apparently, it was less closed on average than it was with the the way forward. But again, I think with all of these averages, the dispersion, the strike, again, like this is the average strike, could it like 10 there and 10 there and average there, right? So I might not have even hit 1 there. And it's kind of similar with this data. It doesn't always paint a full picture when you see this. It's kind of why I'm paying more attention as we're going through the fit. What did the good one do? What did the bad one do? All those kind of things. Because the averages you do have to take with a bit of a pinch of salt, in all honesty. But yeah, I mean, it's that dynamic loft, really. That's all we're looking at. That's all we really wanted to see. And it's kind of done exactly what it should do, if not even maybe better. So very, very impressive. Right, so I'm going to sum this up with 3 things. Number 1, Titleist, please change the name of the SureFit sleeve, because I cannot say it properly in my videos, and this is about take 412. Number 2, cannot wait to put this head-to-head with the TSR4. It's going to be an amazing video, and that's going to be my next video. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And it's going to be really interesting because I'm going to do 2 data sets. I'm going to do same loft with each head as they come out of the factory. So same loft, see how that compares. And then I'm going to optimize both of them for me and then do a head-to-head with that. A little bit selfish because I obviously will be gaming one of these drivers and I just want to see which is better when it's optimized for me. But TSR4, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean they'll be playing the same loft. I'll tweak the sleeve, I'll tweak the weights in the TSR4, same on the 3. I'll optimize them for me and then do another head-to-head with that. So that's going to be super interesting. And yeah, number 3, what an amazing job Titleist has done with all of these TSR drivers. Honestly, like the whole range is so complete, and with the TSI range being so good, it's impressive that they've managed to kind of subtly make them better. Like not dramatically, but just subtly. Like the little differences, the looks, the feel, the sound, the kind of miss hits are slightly more friendly, especially on this. Yeah, just overall done an amazing job, and this is no different. The amount of adjustability in it is amazing now. We can really change it. We can make it 4, 3.5, 3. Tweak the loft and lie, chart, everything is just... It's a really phenomenal driver, to be honest. The way it looks, super compact, lovely little player's shape. So there's a lot of players that are going to love it, and if we can play around with those kind of weights and make it a more friendly driver with that more compact kind of head, it could be a massive winner, to be honest. And yeah, really good job, Titleist. Cannot wait to do more head-to-heads with this, more testing, more optimization. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next one.